Am I the jerk for asking my roommate to stop practicing piano late at night? My roommate and I are in the middle of a standoff, and our mutual friends keep saying I'm either being too uptight or completely justified. I need outside perspectives. So, here's the situation. I live in a two-bedroom apartment with my roommate. We've been living together for about 8 months. At first, it was great. We were friends from college. We have similar tastes in decor, and we split rent evenly. One of her biggest passions in life is music. She's a really talented pianist. In college, she majored in music, and she dreams of being a professional accompanist or even teaching piano full-time. I respect that, and honestly, I admire her dedication. The problem is she practices piano at night. And when I say at night, I mean usually starting around 10:30 p.m. and sometimes going until midnight or later. Before anyone asks, yes, she owns a real upright piano. Not a keyboard with headphones, but an actual, full-sized acoustic upright. She brought it with her when we moved in. It barely fit through the door, but she insisted she needed it for authentic practice. The thing about acoustic pianos is they're really loud. Even with the door to her room closed, the sound carries through the whole apartment. And our walls are not thick. When she's practicing Chopin or Beethoven at 11:15 p.m., it feels like the piano is in my bedroom. Here's where the real conflict comes in. I work in healthcare administration. My job starts early most mornings. I'm up by 6 a.m. and out the door by 7. That means I need to be in bed by around 10 or 10:30 p.m. if I want a decent night's sleep. When she's practicing at night, I cannot sleep. I've tried earplugs, white noise machines, even moving my bed to the farthest corner of my room. Nothing works. The sound cuts through everything. It's like trying to fall asleep while someone is banging on pots and pans in the next room. After the first couple weeks of late-night practice, I decided to bring it up. I said, "Hey, I love that you're so committed to piano, but it's really hard for me to sleep when you practice at night. Could you maybe move practice to earlier in the evening?" She looked surprised and said, "Oh, I didn't realize you could hear it so clearly. But the thing is, I work part-time during the day, and evenings are the only time I can really focus. Plus, late night is when I feel most inspired." I told her I understood, but I asked if she could at least wrap up by 9:30 p.m. She kind of brushed it off and said she'd try, but nothing changed. Weeks went by, and the late-night sessions continued. Some nights, it wasn't too bad. She'd play quietly or stop early. Other nights, she'd go full force, pounding out concertos until midnight. I started getting headaches from lack of sleep. I dragged myself into work groggy and cranky. My boss even noticed I seemed less sharp. So, I brought it up again. This time I said, "Look, I really need you to stop practicing past 10 p.m. I can't keep functioning like this." Her response? "Music is my career. You have to understand that this is more than a hobby, it's my future. You can't ask me to give that up just because you're a light sleeper." That stung. I never said she had to give it up. I just wanted her to practice at reasonable hours. I tried to suggest alternatives. Could she practice earlier in the day, before work? Could she use a practice room at the music school where she sometimes teaches lessons? Could she at least get a keyboard with headphones for late-night practice? She shot down every idea. She said mornings don't work because she's not a morning person. She said the practice rooms close too early. And she said keyboards don't feel the same as a real piano, so she can't get the same expression. At this point, I was beyond frustrated. One night, I had an important presentation the next morning. I told her in advance, "Hey, tomorrow's a big day for me. Could you please not practice late tonight?" She smiled and said, "Don't worry, I'll keep it short." That night, she practiced until 12:45 a.m. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, tears of frustration in my eyes. The next morning, I stumbled through my presentation half asleep, and it went terribly. That was my breaking point. I sat my roommate down and told her, "This can't continue. You need to stop playing after 9:30 p.m. Non-negotiable. If you can't, we need to rethink living together." She got defensive immediately. She said, "So you're saying your office job is more important than my dream? That you get to dictate my life because you go to bed early?" I said, "I'm not dictating your life. I'm asking for basic respect in a shared space. I can't sleep through piano at midnight." This is about compromise. She crossed her arms and said, "You're being selfish. If you were really my friend, you'd support me chasing my goals." Here's where things get messy. Some of our mutual friends say I'm being uptight. They argue that I should just wear better earplugs or learn to sleep through it. One even said, "She's an artist. You can't put restrictions on creativity." Other friends say that she is being inconsiderate. They point out that music majors in college had to use practice rooms with designated hours, so she's acting entitled. My parents think I should give her an ultimatum: either respect the quiet hours or move out. Since that confrontation, my roommate has been cold towards me. She still practices late, though sometimes she stops around 11 p.m. instead of midnight, as if that's a huge concession. I'm exhausted. I've thought about breaking the lease, but that would mean paying extra rent and scrambling to find a new place. Plus, part of me feels guilty. I don't want to be the person who crushed her dream or made her feel unsupported. But another part of me is angry. I feel like she's prioritizing her inspiration over my health. And if the roles were reversed, if I blasted music at midnight, she'd lose her mind. I keep going back and forth. Am I the jerk for asking my roommate not to practice piano late at night? Am I being unsupportive of her career? Or is she the one being inconsiderate for ignoring my need for sleep? I'm torn because I know music really is her life. But at the same time, sleep is not optional for me. This isn't about preference, it's about being able to function. I also wonder if the friendship can even survive this. Right now, every interaction feels tense. I tiptoe around the apartment, dreading the moment the piano starts up